We knew we weren't far away. Obviously it was a roller coaster sometimes up and down, then penalty shootouts. After we finished the club season, it was sort of in the back of my mind that I wanted to really push on the coaching career. There was cars, I think there was a donkey or something painted orange and white, so the place going mental. And once Portadown's there, it's going to be so accessible to all the teams. You don't really have to worry about rescheduling or going somewhere else or trying to find a club pitch or whatever it is.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Win with Armagh podcast, the series that we've started for this campaign, and we're going to continue. There'll be loads of past players and plenty of recognisable faces speaking to us over the next couple of weeks and months. I'm delighted to be joined by now former Armagh player Jemar Hall, and he's going to help us look back at his career and talk a bit about the future as well. So Jemar, a former Armagh player, have you got used to that yet?
Probably feels a bit strange. But after the first couple of games, you get used to watching the games and being a supporter, but probably take a while just to come to terms with it. But seems a while ago now, and I've kept myself busy, so slowly but surely getting used to it.
That's sort of like it was before Christmas, obviously. That's I think there was 5 boys ultimately retired, so it probably does. There's that much goes on. Like there's a whole National League campaign that has went by there in those couple of months, so It probably feels like a long time ago since you stepped away.
Yeah, it feels a long time ago from that meeting back in September. We had a meeting in September where everybody just got back together, so all the boys were there. And then I think there was another 4 weeks. But at that time, some of the boys maybe had it in the back of the mind that maybe we were stepping off the panel. For me, I wasn't 100% sure, but I think we were still in the championship at the time. So I think it was a couple of weeks after that, and it was sort of hard to know what I was going to do at the time, but so as time has went on, and it does seem a good bit away from that, but as you said there, pre-season, it was from October to maybe December, so I sort of didn't miss that, to be honest.
How do you come to the conclusion? Did you go into 2025 thinking, right, this is my last year, or is it sort of, you leave Armagh, you go into the club season, you get that wrapped up, and then you sort of really start thinking about it, or how does the process work, I suppose, in your mind?
I suppose, I didn't really think after that season was over that was me finished. Probably just weighed up my options in terms of business and coaching, so after we finished the club season, it was sort of in the back of my mind that I wanted to really push on my coaching career, and to do that, something I was going to have to give. So that's the sort of decision I made, and obviously I hadn't been playing many. Well, I played a good bit of the league there last year and played a few championship games, but I suppose once you're on the bench and you're sitting there and you're getting a wee bit older, it's in the back of your mind, could I be spending my time somewhere else? But that's sort of when I made the decision that I just wanted to push on my coaching career and my business, so that's how I came to terms with it.
And how are you as a supporter? Have you been to many of the games yet, or watching on from behind the couch maybe on the telly, or how do you find being a fan now?
Yeah, I haven't went to any games, I've just watched the games on the TV. Don't think I'd feel comfortable yet going to a game. You'd be too into it. I heard Soupy saying if someone did say something to stand, you'd be certainly sticking off for them. No, I'll probably wait another while maybe. I don't know, I might get to a championship game. I'll see how I feel at the time, but I'll just watch it on the TV for now.
You mentioned your coaching career and obviously the gym that you own with Blaine Hughes in Kelma. Where did you find the time to get, I suppose, owning a gym and running a gym while playing inter-county football? It must have been hectic for a couple of years there.
Well, we were lucky enough. We had actually time to sit down and do it over lockdown. So I was working in the sports centre and he was working on Armagh City Hotel, so we were lucky enough we had time to sit down and come up with a plan to build it, and then obviously we had maybe 5 or 6 months to build the business, and it sort of got into a bit of a flow, and then you sort of work it around your county schedule too, but obviously it was intense. We have other guys working for us too, covering the class in the evenings when we weren't there. But it's sort of hectic when people are very understanding too, so they'll always work with you and understand why you're not there. Obviously you'd want to be there all the time, but you just can't. Like you might have been leaving training and people just coming in the gym, it's hard to see that sometimes, but we have a couple of good coaches there that people were comfortable with, so it worked out all right for us then.
And I suppose Anybody we interview, I suppose, a recent past player, 2024 is going to be the main attraction, I suppose, when you were talking about career highlights and whatever else. Like 2024 for you, Jemar, I suppose Armagh were knocking on the door for those couple of years, like Galway 22, Monaghan 23. Like 24, was there always the belief that Armagh could go and win All Ireland, because you're one of these players that had played Division 3 football and, you know, felt like you're making progress, and then it felt sometimes one step forward, two steps back a couple of them years. So was the belief and I suppose the drive always there for Armagh to go and win some?
Yeah, I suppose when we got out of maybe Division 3 and then Division 2 and then slowly got up to Division 1, when you're competing with the best teams, you just knew you weren't that far away. Maybe just tidy a few things up, the kickouts or your execution in front of goals. We knew we weren't far away. Obviously, it was a roller coaster sometimes, up and down, then penalty shootouts and losing finals, but we were just so close away. And like, I think there was like a period of time where we barely lost a game. It was just from the penalties. So I think it was over 18 months we barely got beaten the game. So yeah, we were just so close. We just knew if it went right, if we kept putting the effort in, knuckled down and kept working, you know, we'd eventually get there. Like, obviously sometimes you doubt it and going, is it ever going to be us? Are we really unlucky? But I think in 2024, everybody just stuck together and every man in the squad from 1 to 42 was really pushing each other. So yeah, I think we slowly but surely had the belief throughout them years, like, but it was just a matter of getting the final and then eventually getting over the line. Like.
And what's your memories of, I suppose, the build-up first, because the 2-week build-up from the Kerry game to the Galway game was unbelievable as a fan anyway.
Yeah.
As a player, you're maybe dipping your toe into wee bits and pieces, but you're not fully embracing the build-up because you're focusing on trying to win All Ireland. So what's your memory of those 2 weeks?
2 weeks, memories is, every whole place just orange and white everywhere you went. I remember, I think on the Tuesday before the final, Dials and Camel, there was like a massive parade and there was cars, I think there was a donkey or something painted orange and white, like, so the place going mental, and that's the way I go out from work at that Camel roundabout, say the Yellow Heifer, so I went through the back roads just to avoid that, like, so it was just chaotic and it was a serious build-up. I suppose I could probably soak it up a bit more because I was outside the 26 that time, I was on the 30, so yeah, I was able to relax there maybe on the Thursday night once the team was named and really soak it up and try and help other lads get mentally prepared for it and maybe say a couple of words to them and take everything in as the bus journey was going towards Croke Park, where other lads might have been a bit more focused on the performance and just staying relaxed.
And what was the aftermath then? It was a wee bit. It wasn't as relaxed the couple of weeks after winning All Ireland. I know we had Stephen Campbell on. He was saying I think he got engaged a couple of days after Armagh won All Ireland. Like, so everybody probably has a different story. There was stag do's, there was weddings going on. Like, so I suppose we're talking about the 2-week build up. What was the 2 weeks after it like?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it was that whole week, and then they had Kieran's wedding through the middle of the week, and then I went on that stag to Berlin and Armagh GAA stag. So it was it was a long week. Like, it was once you got there, you're going, Jesus, I don't know if I can keep going on like this here. And then after that, we sort of me and my girlfriend, we went on holidays then on the following week after that. So it was Joe McElroy's wedding actually, and then we went on holidays then on that weekend. So yeah, it was a chaotic 2 weeks.
And like 24 is obviously the highlight, Jemar, but what's your other big memories or the big highlights, I suppose, from I think you were in around 2016 you come into the panel, like, so that was Geezer's second year in charge. What was the other big days or big memories you have?
Big memories, I was back to that maybe game in 2019 against Mayo. I know a few boys could have said this before, but it was a massive turning point. Like, we put it up against Mayo, and they were top team for maybe 10 years there. There were a lot of mainstay players, and they're competing with the likes of Dublin for All Ireland titles. So that was a big sort of turning point for the team and turning point for yourself, and that gave you that belief to push on in the years to come then, because you know you're only a point off beating a classy team like Mayo down in Castlebar. So I I think that was a massive highlight. Like, even though we lost the game, it was sort of just that sort of bit of a push on to get to where we did get. Like.
And I think I
That was massive.
always remember, I think the 2022 game against Galway, you kicked what should have been the winner when they come up the field and got the equaliser. Like, and there was another game out here in Athletic Grounds against Roscommon. Roscommon, it was the playoff for staying up in Division 1, I think, 2021.
Yeah.
And you maybe kicked 3 or 4 points that day as well. So I suppose your role in the team, Jemar, there was days you were maybe in the old game, in the old rules, you were the hard working half forward, trying to get up the field and trying to get your GPS numbers up or whatever. Like, but for Forkhill, you're the inside scoring threat, like at club level. So, is there a way? Like, there are obviously two very different roles. How did you find sort of going in between the two?
Yeah, it was probably tough my first couple of years to maybe adjust to that. Like, I think my first year with Armagh, I got a chance to play inside, but it was only for maybe, I don't know, 10, 5 minutes here and there. Like, obviously you have to earn your trust in the team and earn your place as such. Like, but it took me maybe 2 or 3 years to get used to doing that. Like, used to that role, getting up and down. Like, obviously with your club, you're getting the ball all the time, so you had to really adjust to just working hard and doing extra work for the team. Sort of that selfless actions that had the team win, and there's maybe 11 to 12 boys had to do that job, like just work. But yeah, a lot of times I was man marking, and maybe I wouldn't be renowned for that at club level or until I got to senior level. But yeah, Geezer really helped me with that, of just trying to help the team out and making the man beside you look better. So that was always my mindset when I put on the orange jersey, like trying to make the man beside you look better and just work as hard as possible, you know.
And obviously we're talking about the club, Forkhill, there was 3 All-Ireland medals went back to Forkhill, so like yourself, Stephen Sheridan and Paddy Burns, all Forkhill men. That must have been very special, being able to do that at county level is unbelievable, but to be able to bring Sam back to the club and stuff.
Yeah, it's unbelievable for such a small club before Forkhill. Like, I'm not sure if it'll maybe happen again. It was class to see the smiles on everybody's faces and getting the photos with all the young children and how much they look up at you. You just sort of really appreciated that day when we were able to do something like that for the club. Like, obviously won the junior back in 2020, but it was also nice to bring something at the county stage back to Forkhill, because all the support and good luck matches you've got over the years, it was nice to sort of repay them with something.
And I suppose growing up, Jemar, like, you would have played a good bit of other sports. I think you would have played a bit of soccer and stuff for Newry City and that, and maybe you play a bit of basketball maybe as well?
No, well, I played basketball until maybe 10 years of age, but I was always into the soccer and obviously Gaelic, but soccer would have been my main sport until I was about 16 or 17. Would have made my debut at Newry City back when I was 17, so I think that was maybe 2011. So I had to make a decision. Was it Armagh Minors or play for Newry City? So I chose Armagh Minors, and then just that was it. Then I just stuck with the Gaelic then after that.
And you said at the start about your coaching. You're obviously in with the Armagh Minors now this year as an S&C coach. I suppose how did that come around, or how did you get involved with the minor team?
That came around. I just seen the job come up, and obviously I just retired from the team, so played for the job and done the interview, and obviously I have a lot of experience with that from running my own business, and I've worked with a lot of club teams over the last couple of years, so I thought it'd be a good role to go and help the next generation to progress on, and maybe I could help them get that wee bit of an extra push there. So play for the job, and I got it. So.
And is it just S&C, Jemar, or are you on the field for ball work as well? Or
just a wee bit of the skill-based stuff in the warm-up and a bit of the forward play. Sean McCreesh, he's the forwards coach, so me and him be constantly texting each other back and forth, and any bits of insight that sort of need a wee bit of help on, like we have always conversations about that. So yeah, a wee bit of the forward structure, and even sometimes with the kickouts, because we went through that extensively with the senior team, like all the video analysis the weekends away. So any wee bits of insights that we had from the senior team, I try and pass that on to the minors, like where's possible.
And how are you enjoying it so far? Like, it's probably something different going down to work with, you know, a county minor team's obviously at a high level, but it's still lower than senior inter-county, like, so it's trying to find that balance, is it?
Yeah, it's nice to go down and help the lads and sort of give them that sort of structure and plan of where they want to be in the next couple of years. No, they're a great bunch of lads, plenty of talent, plenty of ability. Especially at that age, they're really keen to learn and improve. So, yeah, it's been a breath of fresh air, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
And I know we're talking for win with Armagh, like on the facilities at the minute. Probably we've put in the worst winter or the worst couple of months there imaginable, with rain and pitch availabilities and stuff. And I know with minor level, that's been a big struggle for yourselves. Even the likes of challenge games, you are having to go on the road, while, you know, hopefully in a year or two when Portadown's built, it'll leave everything a lot easier for the likes of the minor team, the under-20s, and obviously the senior at all grades. Yeah,
well, we're training in St. Joe's area at the moment, so it's probably not ideal for the North Armagh boys. It's handy for the South boys. It's a wee bit of a track for the mid boys, but you know what, probably is a bit of hassle. It's a great facility when it is open, but it's been closed a few times there, and we haven't got a chance to get a pitch. Like, once Portadown's there, it's going to be so accessible to all the teams. You don't really have to worry about rescheduling or going somewhere else or trying to find a club pitch or whatever it is. It's just going to be there, and it's going to be a great setup, and all the teams can train throughout the week without worrying about, I'm going to get a pitch this week or not, it's going to be waterlogged. So, yeah, the Portadown facility is going to be a massive help to all the teams, from the academy teams right through the senior.
And stepping into that sort of world of coaching, I suppose, Jemar, like, what's the ambition from that? Because you're obviously playing club football as well. Are you trying to get involved with club teams? Have you know, what's the direction of I suppose your coaching career?
Yeah, well, obviously S&C is my main thing, but I'm coaching also with a team in Louth, Mallock Rangers. So I'm with them for the last 3 years. 1 year SC, and then last year coaching, and then this year coaching as well. So I don't know, it's probably going to be a combination of both, like, where it fits right. Like, I suppose you can marry two together. Once you know the physical demands of the game, you can sort of structure your team around that and how you want to play tackling and stuff too. So I think the both paths work hand in hand with each other. So hopefully I can do sort of a combination role of both jobs.
I don't know, I'd asked you earlier what sort of fan or supporter you were watching on now this year, and the Armagh have obviously stayed up. The draw with Kerry last week was enough to keep them in Division 1 of the Championship coming up now. It's only 2 weeks away. So how important is it for Armagh to have kept their Division 1 status and to be, they're obviously one of the top teams in the country, but for a squad that's maybe changing, or I don't want to say in transition at the minute, but it seems to be changing, how important is it for them to stay up?
Yeah, it's vital to be playing them top teams, like your Donegals, your Kerrys, your Mayos. You know, it's vital to get that high standard game every week on week. Division 1 is a tough game. It's very unpredictable, as we know. It just brings boys on and develops them and shows you what level they need to be at to be competing for Ulster titles, All Ireland. So, yeah, it's vital not to drop down into Division 2. But even though Division 2 is going to be very strong anyway, but you're going to have a tough game every week in Division 1, so it's going to keep the boys at such a high level, you know.
And hopefully they're going to push on there. There's a lot of excitement after the Kerry game, like, so yeah. The Championship's just around the corner. Hopefully a big summer for them.
Yeah, well, they're playing a great brand of football, especially going forward. Like, they're creating a lot more chances than we probably did in previous years. I think it's just with the speed in the team, you know, the boys are just creating so many chances, and it's great to watch. Obviously, we're conceding a wee bit more than we'd like, but the boys are flying, and, you know, hopefully they keep pushing on, and it's going to be a mass game against their own.
Yeah, that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time, that Tyrone game. Hopefully it's a massive summer for Armagh. That's all we have for Jemar. We're going to have hopefully a weekly podcast with an ex-Armagh player or a notable face, and we'll be chatting to them about past, present and future. So keep an eye out on all our social media channels. We're Win with Armagh, and keep supporting the campaign. You can, of course, win £50,000 worth of motors from Shelburne Motors, which is an unbelievable campaign. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. £5 per ticket. It's definitely worth entering. Jemar, thanks very much for chatting to us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean. Cheers.
Thank you.
Win £50,000 to spend how you like.
Here at Shelburne Motors.
You could choose this car.
Or what about this one?
Why not grab two while you're at it?
£50,000 to spend your way at Shelburne Motors.
It's entirely up to you. One car, two cars, it's your way.
It's a tough one for me, but I'd probably go with this one.
Enter now, tickets are only a £5.